Hello everybody, today I want to talk to you about Mythic Plus. So how does a Mythic Plus work? Well, it is a Mythic dungeon that per level of plus, so per level of difficulty, it will give you better item level gear and will increase the enemy's health and damage, essentially. In addition to that, there's also affixes. Affixes will make the game more difficult in different ways, such as the one that gives the non-boss enemies enrage at 30% health, which is always a fun mechanic to deal with, or tyrannical, giving the bosses more health and more damage, or the one that drops pools of blood when enemies die, and if the enemies stand in it because they're casting spells that you can't interrupt, then they just heal back to full health. Part of the loot system is better for Shadowlands than it was for Battle for Azeroth with the Great Vault. There used to be a Mythic Plus chest in Battle for Azeroth that will give you the item level equivalent to whatever Mythic Plus level you did that week for your top run. And it would be a random item you couldn't help. So it's essentially a loot box inside of the game. The Great Vault in Shadowlands has improved upon that though. There are now 9 slots that you can choose from per week to get an item from your weekly chest, so to say. There is 3 from raiding that you get depending on how many bosses you killed and what difficulty it was on. There's the Mythic Plus 3 slots, which is based off the highest level key you did, then the 4th highest, then the 10th highest. And then there's the PvP, which is based off of your rated PvP ranking. The PvP section and the rating sections for the Great Vault are actually pretty well implemented. They both give best gear in the game depending on what difficulty you're doing. You get Mythic rating, you're going to get the best gear in the game based off of the Great Vault. You're doing top level PvP, you're getting the best PvP gear in the game, or the best gear in the game, based off of that endgame activity. The problem with Mythic Plus isn't really lying in the Great Vault. The real problem with Mythic Plus is Mythic Plus. The reward system in it is absolute dog crap. So what happens when you do a Mythic Plus run is then you spend 30 to 40 to 50 minutes or however long it takes to do a Mythic Plus 5, 10, 15, whatever level you're doing. Then at the end, there is a chest. That chest will drop 2 items. 2 players out of that 5-man run will get loot. Now, compared to raiding, it's probably about an equal ratio, right? But the problem is that the Mythic Plus just takes so much longer per piece of loot than raiding does. It just doesn't feel like it's worth the reward. Especially when you run 3 or 4 Mythic Pluses in a row and you could be healing, you could be like trying your ass off as a DPS, you could be tanking as a warrior, whatever it may be. You've been putting through this grind and you do 3 or 4 Mythic Pluses and you only get 35 anima each time because that's the minimum reward you get. Or you could be pugging a Mythic Plus 15 and it takes an hour and a half. Sure, you'll get your weekly chest at the end of it, or at the beginning of next week, that will give you a Mythic Plus 15 item, but from that chest, you could just get 35 anima. No one cares about the 35 anima reward from Mythic Plus. It's absolutely worthless. You get more anima from Shadowlands World Quest than you'd get from doing a Mythic Plus from a World Quest that just has you run around killing enemies or playing fetch with a giant undead dog and Maldraxxus. Those give you better rewards than Mythic Plus can give you. That does not make sense to me. Sure, you could be saying, well, Mythic Plus gives you access to the weekly chest, and that's true. But I don't know why the base reward for a endgame dungeon is just 35 anima. What I think would be a great idea for Mythic Plus is bring back an emblem system very similar to Wrath of the Lich King, where I think they have the best dungeon emblem system in the game. And Blizzard, you can implement it in one of 2 ways, I feel like. You could have it where the Mythic Plus gives you, say, like 2 badges per boss, maybe, or maybe like 5 badges at the end of any Mythic Plus. And then you can have tiers of badges, like in Wrath of the Lich King, that depending on the highest level raid you do or whatever the current content is, it'll give you that type of badge that gives you gear similar to the top end rating gear, but not nearly on that item level, or just a little bit below Mythic Plus. Maybe like it'll give you equivalent of heroic level gear from raiding if you get enough emblems from Mythic Plus. You could either do something like that, or you could have it where, say, if you do a Mythic 1 to 5, or Mythic Plus 1 to Mythic Plus 4, you could get 5 emblems at the end. Maybe if you do a Mythic Plus 5 to Mythic Plus 9, you get 10 emblems. And then 10 to 14, you get 15, and then 15 plus, you get 20. So that way you actually feel like you're being rewarded for doing this sort of endgame activity constantly. Even if you don't get that necklace that you really want to drop from whatever dungeon it is, you're still getting rewarded from the game by saying, oh, I can save up these emblems and I can get a necklace or bracers or whatever it is from the emblem vendor. What was really nice about the Wrath of the Lich King emblem system was that you did your random heroic, and then you got your 2 max level emblems, and you also got your lower level emblems for just killing each boss. Then you could spend that on tier gear, which, please add that back to the game, Blizzard. But you could spend those emblems on your class tier set, and when you were finally ready or wanting to do some raiding, you would feel still somewhat competitive because you've spent those emblems building up your tier set. It felt nice to say, man, I spent all this time, I get to use some of that gear I got from the dungeons, my tier set, or whatever the gear was with your emblems, and you still felt like you were impactful in the raid because the gear was still pretty good. It wasn't the best in slot because you do get that from the raiding, which I agree with, but it was still pretty nice. It felt like you owned your gear more. You had more say in what you wanted than this random weekly chest that you only get 1 item from. Sure, you can keep that. That's fine. Whatever. It's a lot better than BFA. But give players, for doing Mythic Plus, give them a reward that they can earn constantly throughout the week and feel like they're actually progressing through the game. Give them some sort of carrot and stick to keep doing Mythic Plus, because no one does Mythic Plus for fun now. Mythic Plus can be just tedious to do 50 minutes, 60 minutes of a dungeon and just get 35 anima at the end. Nobody's going to want to do that because the reward is so bad. Please add a badge system to Mythic Plus. And heck, you could implement it with raiding as well. Okay, you get 10 emblems per heroic kill and raiding, 5 emblems per normal kill, 15 emblems per mythic kill maybe, or whatever it may be. I'm just throwing these numbers off the top of my head. But if you want like an endgame currency that allows you to get gear across multiple avenues or even just one avenue, adding a badge system back would be really nice. Anyways, those are my thoughts on it. Tell me what you guys think. And until next time, later.